Short history of the German battleship Scharnhorst. The Treaty of Versailles restricted German naval shipbuilding to warships displacing no more than 10,000 long tons. After the completion of the so-called pocket battleships or Panzerschiff in German, different designs were made for new ships. Eventually Adolf Hitler managed to sign the Anglo-German Naval Agreement, that freed Germany from the 10,000 long tons limit. Originally the plan was to have a diesel-powered propulsion like the Panzerschiff, but for the required maximum speed this was not possible at the time. The keel of the battleship Scharnhorst was laid down on 15 June 1935 at the Kriegsmarine Wilhelmshaven and the ship was launched on 3 October 1936. Eventually the Scharnhorst was commissioned on 7 January 1939. The battleship displaced 32,100 long tons and was 770 feet and 8 inches long and had a beam of 98 feet and 5 inches. The main armament of Scharnhorst consisted out of 9 11-inch 54.5 caliber guns in 3 triple turrets. The secondary guns consisted out of 12 5.9-inch 55 caliber guns. The Scharnhorst was also armed with 14 4.1-inch anti-aircraft guns, 16 1.5-inch anti-aircraft guns, 10 0.79-inch anti-aircraft guns and 6 torpedo tubes. The battleship Scharnhorst had an armor belt that was 13.8-inch thick and an armored deck that was 0.79 to 1.57 inches thick, with 4.1-inch on downward sloping sides. The main gun turret faces were 14 inches thick with 7.9 inches thick sides. Because the Scharnhorst shipped large amounts of water over the bow was reconstructed. Despite this, the Kriegsmarine was never completely satisfied with its seakeeping. During her first mission with her sister ship Gneisenau, the Scharnhorst tried to lure away Royal Navy warships away from the raiding mission of the Admiral Graf Spee. On 23 November 1939, both battleships intercepted the British armed cruiser merchant ship Rawalpindi and sunk her. During Operation Weserübung in June 1940, the Scharnhorst and Gneisenau were in search of enemy merchant ships. On 9 April, the two ships encountered the British battlecruiser Renown. They engaged the battlecruiser briefly before breaking off the action. On their way back from Norway, the Scharnhorst and Gneisenau spotted the carrier Glorious, escorted by the destroyers Acasta and Ardent. The main guns of the battleships sank the Glorious, while their secondary guns sank the Acasta and Ardent. During this battle the Scharnhorst scored a hit on the Glorious at a range of 28,000 yards. The Scharnhorst was also hit by a torpedo from the Acasta, that flooded several compartments. 2,500 tons of water flooded the ship, destroyed her starboard shaft and damaged her machinery. After repairs the Scharnhorst and her sister ship took part in Operation Berlin from February till March 1940. On the 22nd of February 1940, the Scharnhorst sank the merchant ship Lustrous and on the 9th of March the merchant ship Marathon. On the 15th of March the Scharnhorst sank the merchant ships Athelfoam and British Strength. A day later the battleship Scharnhorst sank the merchant ships Empire Industry, Mankai, Sardinian Prince and Silver Fir. Unfortunately the Scharnhorst developed problems with her boilers, that made her unavailable to sortie with the battleship Bismarck. After being repaired in Brest, the battleship Scharnhorst was heavily damaged on 24 July 1941. The battleship was hit by 5 bombs, that caused flooding in several compartments and temporarily disabled 2 main gun turrets and half of her anti-aircraft guns. After the Scharnhorst was repaired again, the Kriegsmarine decided on 12 January 1942 to retreat the battleships Scharnhorst, Gneisenau and the heavy cruiser Prinz Eugen to Germany. On the 11th of February 1942 the ships left Brest and headed for Germany. The Scharnhorst hit 2 mines during this operation and was again heavily damaged. Repairs lasted till July 1942. On 8 March 1943 the Scharnhorst was sent to Norway. Fuel shortages prevented further operations. On 6 September 1943 the Scharnhorst and other ships were tasked with bombarding the island of Spitsbergen. The battleship destroyed a battery of 2 3-inch guns and shelled fuel tanks, coal mines, harbor facilities, and military installations. On 26 December 1943, the Scharnhorst took part in the Battle of North Cape. The Scharnhorst left her moorings to attack a convoy, but was intercepted by the battleship Duke of York, the cruisers Jamaica, Belfast, Sheffield and Norfolk and several destroyers. The Scharnhorst fought bravely and was sunk by torpedoes and shells. It was the final battle of battleships in European waters and one of the few battleship versus battleship engagements during World War II. During her career, the battleship Scharnhorst sank or assisted in sinking 12 enemy ships.